The Empire pursues a cloning agenda. Omega is trapped at a black site. The team begins its final mission and more as the Sky Guys are back to preview Season 3 of The Bad Batch.
Hello there. Welcome back to the Sky Guys podcast. We are getting you ready for The Bad Batch Season 3, premiering next week on Disney Plus, the 3-episode premiere. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Phillips. Joining me today, first up, the man who's voices your narration every single week, Pete Consadori is here. Pete, how are you?
Doing well. Excited to talk about the topic for today. Very, very excited to see what your thoughts are. And, always a pleasure talking Star Wars with you guys.
Yep. Also is here today, the fourth genetically unaltered clone of Jango Fett. Nick Fraietta is here. Nick, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Very excited to be out of the off season. It was grueling, and very excited to get into this show and get into our regular schedule again.
Yeah, I believe this is what a 3.5 month off season between the end of Ahsoka and this. Maybe 4 months.
It's been a while. It's been a while. We're coming up in the middle of February. I think Ahsoka ended mid-October, so all the cold months too. Couldn't have been worse. Give me an off season in the summer. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the finale was October 3rd, by the way. So that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and the worst months too, like I said. Give me next time, give me June, July, and August off.
Yeah, take the summer vacation.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome back here. Hope you guys enjoyed our Star Wars podcast episode last week with Max. Nick could not be there with us. Pete, that was a lot of fun hanging out with Max.
Yeah, absolutely. He's very knowledgeable. I think we had a great time talking about it.
Yeah, and folks, I promise you, Max will be back in May when we continue Micro Month. Max will be back to the final 2 seasons of Clone Wars 03 with us here. So maybe Nick will show up then, be able to pop on one of those too.
I have a feeling I will be. I have a feeling the Yankees will be undefeated.
Yeah. We'll see how that holds up here. But Pete, people want to subscribe to us on the Sky Guys. Do so Apple Podcasts, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, Amazon, all usual suspects. Simply search for the Sky Guys for your podcast platforms. You can find episodes there. And just so you folks in the Just and the Suffering podcast know here, Bad Batch is a Sky Guys exclusive. So if you are a Bad Batch fan, you want to be subscribed.
Absolutely. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're getting that exclusive content. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just an extra step that we ask you guys to do just so you can get that exclusive content and we can build our subscribers as well. So definitely subscribe.
Yep. And Nick, people want to follow us on social media. How can they do that?
Follow at Sky Guys Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and TikTok.
Yep. You can also follow us on YouTube. Mike Phillips on YouTube, the video version of the podcast here. I usually bring out the Lego props, but I got a different prop here today. I got the Asajj Ventress book here, Dark Disciple. I have the copy.
Oh, nice. Very cool. I've heard great things.
Yeah, so I'm going to hopefully try and read it before she shows up. So take your bets on if this actually happens or not. You can ask how far we're getting here over the next couple of weeks, but that's something to keep an eye on here with the Asajj Ventress stuff here. But also go out here. We have a lot of Star Wars news backlog if you're pre-recording for a bit. I think the last record we did that you guys have heard was, I think, in mid-January. So, Nick, you want to start catching up on some of the stuff we've had over the last few weeks?
Yeah, so Jedi Survivor won the Grammy Award for Best Score in a Video Game.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
I'm surprised it won that, honestly. I thought that was going to go to Zelda, if I'm being honest. But I guess the reason why most of the music was copied, I guess. But anyway, Dave Filoni was honored with the George Pal Award at the Saturn Awards for his career achievements in animation.
Good job, Dave.
Yeah. Andor Season 2 finished filming as of about a week ago from the time of recording.
Yeah, yep. Actually finished. I think Diego Luna said 2 days prior to recording, he said we just finished.
Oh, perfect. So there you go. And Gina Carano is apparently suing Disney for wrongful termination and wants to be recast in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, just to be clear on that, folks, we're not doing any political commentary here. It's just the news. So if you want to follow that stuff, it'll be all over the media when they go this trial.
Right, yeah. And then I saved this part for last, although we actually had it listed first in our news, is that sadly, I'm sure everyone knows by now, but Carl Weathers passed away at the age of 76. He obviously played Greef Karga in Star Wars and then played a whole bunch of other very influential roles. Apollo Creed, Chubbs in all the Adam Sandler movies. Um, Countless other roles, honestly, but just a very sad celebrity death.
Yeah, very sad celebrity death, Pete. Carl was just 76 years old when he passed away, and he passed away in his sleep, so at least it was peaceful.
Yeah, I mean, our condolences go out to Carl's family, obviously, and I think he's been a huge success and a huge influence in the movie industry, as Nick listed off all of the items, very big items he's in. He's not, some underground actor who you never really heard of, and he just popped up in The Mandalorian. So it's definitely sad, and we lost a great actor.
Yeah, and Nick, before we move on, I also point out here, not even just on the screen, Carl's had a big impact on Mandalorian as a director as well. So he directed some episodes as well along the way.
That's right. That's right. He did, and I actually had no idea that he was an NFL player prior to his acting career, and I found that out after he died.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun fact I did not know about either here. Carl Weathers directed Chapter 12, The Siege, which I think was the episode on Navarro in season 2 when they are raiding the Imperial base, and he directed the Grogu origin story episode in season 3, the Foundling.
That's interesting. And well, I mean, nothing else we can really say about him. Just rest in peace.
Rest in peace here. That's it for the news this week, correct?
That is it. Yeah.
All right, so we are now set here. Start Bad Batch season 3, the final season coming here. A little bit of accelerated pace in Disney Plus again, but thankfully, Pete, this time we do not appear to be overlapping with another show.
I'm sorry, Mike. Say that again. My feed went in and out.
Yeah, said thankfully it does not appear we are overlapping another show this time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank God. I mean, that was rough on so many levels. I mean, when you think about it from a viewer standpoint, it's not right. If you're just the casual viewer and don't need to do a podcast the same night on something, it's a little bit easier to sit there if you got the hour or and change to watch a couple of show episodes during dinner or something like that. But we work at 9 to 5 and then have to prep for a podcast. It's definitely a little rough on us. So we appreciate it. The viewers may say, all right, less content in one night. However, it's good. I think we should spread out the content.
Yeah, Nick, I do think it's better here, obviously. From what I've been gathering here, early reviews on the season have been very positive. It seems like, from what I'm gathering from Star Wars Holocron, I saw in a tweet earlier that they said that they saw the first 8 episodes of the show. They said it's very much like less one-off, like side quest adventures, very much an overarching main story now.
Sounds great. Sounds like we're going to get what we talked about in this show. Excuse me, how a lot of the episodes start, and within the first 30 seconds, we know if it's a good one or a bad one just by the tone. And it sounds like we're going to get a lot more of those good ones, at least for the first 8.
Yeah. All right, before we get into season 3, let's reset where things ended up here on season 2. So, Pete, you want to start us out here? Some of these things you remember from the end of season 2.
The big one, right? We had a death in the group. It was Echo, correct? I always get the names messed up.
It's Tech.
Sorry. And when I
see that's why they killed them, because they were the same character.
As I said that, my Amazon device, because its name is, I don't want to say it again. Yeah, exactly, went off. But yeah, so we lost Tech. There's I mean, it's hard, right? I don't remember a ton other than that we see that Crosshair is starting to turn a little bit more toward I don't like this Empire deal. And then also the whole, Tech dying and all that stuff. So I think those are the 2 main plot points I got out of the season.
Yeah, Nick, I think some other stuff I'll add here is that obviously, like, Sid ends up turning in the Bad Batch of the Empire. We see that Omega gets caught by the Empire, where she's brought to the secret base that Dr. Hemlock is working on, her and Crosshair. And we find out that she has a secret sister who apparently is this scientist and working with Hemlock the whole time.
Yeah, looks like Boba Fett has 2 sisters.
Yes.
Well, I guess a couple million if you consider all the clones as brothers and sisters. But to me, like, we mentioned we mentioned
Heck.
the Tech death, but to me the Omega kidnapping is the biggest plot point that's going to carry over. Her being in the Empire's control, I guess, is what the season's going to be about, getting her back. But it seems like, at least in the trailer, and excited to get into that.
Yeah, speaking of a trailer here, we're going to do something fun here for the audience here on the YouTube version. You get to watch along with us as we watch the trailer. Audio listeners, we're going to stop down a couple times. I'll tell you what you missed. You'll hear the obviously won't be able to see the visuals, but this is from Disney's YouTube account here. We don't own any of this material. We're just analyzing it here for the pod. So we're going to share the screen. We're going to play some of the audio here on the podcast, and then we're going to go ahead. We're going to stop down at points, and we're going to discuss what we've seen thus far. But I think I'm very excited about this trailer here, Pete.
Same here.
Yeah. All right.
There's actually another trailer that came out. I don't know if you guys know about this.
Yeah.
Like 2-3 days ago.
Yeah.
But it's the same. It's the same voice lines and the same all visuals from prior seasons and whatnot. Nothing changed. So it's not worth like if you haven't seen it, it's not really worth watching. It's just a different perspective, I guess, but it's really the same thing. But it is kind of new, I guess, technically.
All right, so let's go ahead here. I'm going to pop it up on the YouTube version. We're going to go full screen here, and let's start watching this trailer. We're going to stop down about like 20 seconds in here, so we'll go ahead and catch you up on what we've heard so far.
Personally, I loved the trailer. I think it gets me amped to watch it, and excited. Not excited that the show's going away in this sense, but I'm excited that it's our last season, and we're gonna finally finish the show here. Very excited about that. But it looks like you got it figured out now.
Yeah, let's try again. So we're going to start from the top again to take a look here. So let's try not going full screen in case we have issues with it. So
hold on. We've got troopers up top. We're running out of road.
Not exactly a stealth exit, boys.
Let's move.
good place to stop here on the title card here. So we'll mention here, Pete. We'll start out. We have a little bit of a heist going on here that we have. We basically have Tech and Wrecker, or not Tech and Wrecker, Hunter and Wrecker, basically trying to rob an Imperial convoy. They get rescued by Fee General. I got a nice little action sequence to kick off our trailer.
Yeah, it looks super cool. Nothing that I don't expect less from them. I feel like the action in Bad Batch has been good. So I think this is just, continuing that, and it looks really, really good. Doesn't look cartoony or kiddie, which is also good. And I think this is pretty much them trying to go get Omega. So I don't know what your thoughts are.
Nick, you want to weigh in on what we've seen thus far?
I think this is like, I know they said it's very mature tone. Like who was it who saw the first 8 episodes that you quoted earlier?
Star Wars Holocron.
Holocron. I know they said it was a more mature tone, but I feel like there's going to be at least 1 or 2 episodes that are more like a treasure hunt type, and I feel like this is one of them. Similar to last season, I believe the trailer showed them on the beach, right?
Yep.
And that was, I think, the first scene of the first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like literally the front of the season premiere.
Yeah, so I think this might be similar, where this is like where we catch up to them. They're doing like a heist here for her, and it's like, this is where we've been, this is what we're doing, and then it's like we can't keep doing these jobs. We got to find the kid.
Yeah, and Pete, nice to see Fee General back. Wanda Sykes back in the mix for the final season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't my top character, but it wasn't my worst character when it comes to MVPs and stuff like that. So it's definitely exciting to get some characters back here.
All right, we'll go back to the trailer here. So we'll go on back here. We're going to continue from where we left off, which is the Lucasfilm title card. So go ahead and keep playing here.
I thought that the end of the war would mean an end to losing more of our brothers. But I was wrong. We can't just walk away. Not with the Empire imprisoning the kid.
Stopping down here under 20 seconds in here. So, Nick, you want to recap what we just saw?
I guess it's exactly what I was kind of saying. Them saying, well, first off, they thought when the war was over. I mean, you heard it, but to me, that's just a sign of, we got to find the kid.
Yeah.
And then we stopped. Actually, you paused it right on a shot of Dr. Hemlock, and beautiful shot.
Yeah, and Pete, I did like here that we got the Rex sort of download the team. Hey, I thought the war was over, we stopped losing clones, and now we have seen more clones. Now we get the flashback of Tech dying again, and then we get the shot inside the prison of Omega recognizing that Crosshair is there as well. So our first sighting of both of them in the trailer.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of information with that second 20 seconds. Almost kind of makes me feel like Tech's not dead. You know, the whole if you don't see the body, he's not dead.
Yeah.
Um, very Mace Windu-esque as well. You know, falls off. We don't actually see him. Mace Windu die, so is he alive? Is he not? We've had that conversation before for sure. But yeah, we get a lot of information there in that 20 seconds, and I think that Crosshair and Omega dynamic is going to be huge this season.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Nick, before we go back to this to the trailer?
Nothing else.
All right, so let's go ahead. We're gonna go back here. We're gonna continue with our Dr. Hemlock here. We're about 41 seconds of this 2-minute trailer.
Secure her in a cell. Omega's been waiting for us a long time. Our mission is not over yet.
There is nothing of greater importance to secure the future of this empire.
All right, so good place to stop here again, but we'll go ahead and start here with obviously the line here, Pete, that it's been a long time since we've seen Omega here. I do think that's very important because we got a significant patch of time, it feels like, between seasons.
There's two important lines there. And I won't, give it away here if you're going to talk about it. But yes, it obviously we are getting the major hint that there is a lot of time that passed in between season 2 and season 3. Whether it's an over exaggeration or not by Hunter, there is some time passing. It's not immediately after season 2. So at least we get that kind of context here before we get the season.
Yep. And Nick, the Emperor's here.
He is. And seems pissed.
Yeah. And he has another important line, which Pete, I believe, said there's nothing more important securing the future of the Empire. What's going on right now?
Yeah, I think we may get some Force sensitive folks. For those who saw the trailer, there is something you're going to see a little bit later, but I'm talking about others. So we'll get there. But I think there might be some other Force sensitive people in this season.
Yeah, and to recap the video version, people who are on the audio here, basically see that we have Tech like Omega, we have the Hunter crew basically flying off saying this is our mission's not over yet. You see Palpatine walking down a corridor with some Imperial guards and soldiers, and he says that line. So we're gonna cut back to the trailer now here. We're about halfway through it here, so let's keep going as we look for some important observations on the way here. And this shot we're on right now, I'm gonna go back to it after we stop down again.
Whatever is needed to accomplish this goal, you will have it.
They are coming. For all of you.
All right, it's going to stop down again here. The first shot we left on here, which was this really mysterious soldier, was he's commanding a battalion of stormtroopers here. I'm convinced, Nick, that this is resurrected Tech.
I mean, I'd be shocked if we don't get any Tech in this season.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
I would be shocked. I feel like this, to me, the way the uniform was so different, it looks like a greenish sort of armor compared to like the white for all the stormtroopers here. It feels like they sort of resurrected and brainwashed Tech in that facility, and now they're using him to train their soldiers.
I honestly, like I said, I would be more surprised if we didn't see Tech than if we did.
Pete, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is the same thing as Nick. I would be surprised if we don't see him. It could be that, kind of switching him to the dark side here, almost kind of taking Crosshair's position, if you will. Kind of making the show go for full circle a little bit. But yeah, I mean, we'd have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, and we also got some big cameos in this portion of the trailer for the video audience. So, Nick, you want to recap what we just saw?
So we saw. Why am I forgetting the first one?
Fennec
Shand, yep. And then we saw Cad Bane. And then we see the Prime Minister from Camino.
Yep.
Forgive me that the name
I think Lama Su.
makes me at the time. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's all we saw yet.
Yes, we're going to continue on here, but we have some familiar faces back in the mix for the final season.
Yeah, a very familiar face that raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, especially Pete. Like, what is Cad Bane doing here?
You know, that's a great question. If Cad Bane's there, I wonder if Boba Fett shows up. Um, if we're starting to get into the bounty hunter mix. So maybe a little foreshadowing of what's to come with other characters they haven't shown on screen yet. But I feel like Cad Bane's everywhere now, and especially after making his appearance in the Book of Boba Fett, they're probably going to want Cad Bane to be in some content too. So it might have been a business decision, maybe important to the story. We don't know yet.
Yeah, Nick, I believe the last time we see Cat Bane in this continuity is in season one, where he and Fennec are both on the mission to try and capture Omega. Where I think one was sent by Lamas, they're both sent by Lamassu. One was to bring her in, and then Fennec has a change of heart basically and leaves with the Bad Batch. So I think that's an interesting point. Maybe these two cross paths again.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, Kevin was with his little friend too. I forget again. His name escapes me.
Yeah, his little droid friend.
Little droid friend. Who I was very disappointed was not in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yep. So let's go back to our trailer here. And Palpatine also mentioned here with the line, he says that like whatever resources you need for this project, you'll have. So there's a line basically talking to Hemlock, I would assume, Pete.
I would assume so. Or maybe another villain arises in this season.
Yep.
Um, we'll talk about that more in a second.
All right, let's go back here. We got 2 more seconds I want to go through here on the trailer. So
Give us a real challenge. Everyone down! We're not big on following orders.
I wasn't planning on killing you, but you're making it very tempting.
all right, so we went the rest of the way through here. We got a lot of action here, and the big return, Pete and Nick, very shocking return considering that in the book I referenced here, this character is dead. Nick, you want to go into the return of Ventress?
I mean, are they rewriting canon? Is this a flashback? Are they telling us that your book that you hold in your hand right now
Yep, this book.
on the screen is BS? What are they telling us?
Yeah, they actually released a statement in the press release on the season here. I got to pull it up here. So, Pete, how shocked were you to see Ventress return in the in the trailer of the show?
Well, I wasn't too familiar with the canon outside of digital media, so the shows and stuff. So I didn't know she had died in the book. So it wasn't like a huge shock, but it was like a whoa, we're gonna get Asajj Ventress again. Um, if it's a flashback or not, the color of the lightsaber intrigues me.
This is a yellow lightsaber.
Yeah, and I feel like the way they've made this trailer look is that Asajj Ventress is going against the Bad Batch, but I feel like it might be the other way around, where Asajj Ventress is for the Bad Batch, just from the color of the lightsaber. But I could be wrong. Could be 1,000% wrong. Could be a flashback. Could be something else. She stole a lightsaber from someone. I don't know. So, um, that's the only intriguing part on top of having the character back. That I come away with that.
All right, so I found the quote. This is from Brad Rao. He is in the press release of the season here. In addition to the Batchers, now scattered following the events of season 2. The trailer includes new creatures and familiar faces, including Wanda Sykes' Fee, and ends the shocking appearance of fan favorite Sith Apprentice turned free agent Asajj Ventress. This is a quote here. We love Asajj Ventress. She's a character we've been wanting to tell more stories about. Brad Rao, supervising director and one of the executive producers of the series, tells StarWars.com. He makes clear that her return will honor prior tales, including the book in which the character apparently perished. This is Rao again. Quote, we don't want to spoil anything, but want fans to know that any new storytelling with Ventress will align with the events of Star Wars Dark Disciples. So they are saying, and they are claiming here, that this will not interfere with the canon of the book.
We'll see then. That could mean resurrection. It could mean flashback. I don't know. My honest prediction is it's not a flashback. It's current time, and it's her, like Pete said, with the Bad Batch. And I think a lot of times the trailer will just show you stuff, and the way they give the context they show it to you is like supposed to assume that that's what's happening, and they're kind of it's really the opposite. So that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, in terms of the Ventress angle here, I also mentioned here that in terms of the Dark Disciple stuff, I've not gotten into the full details yet, but according to the brief research I did on the internet for this scenario here, this is an unproduced arc of Clone Wars. It's supposed to be 8 episodes where the Jedi decide, you know what, like we have to assassinate Dooku to end the Clone Wars. They pick Quinlan Voss to do it, and they are worried he's not going to have the stomach for it, so they recruit Ventress to help him. Ventress and Quinlan Voss end up falling in love. Quinlan falls to the dark side. Ventress basically sacrifices herself to redeem Quinlan. And that's where the book basically ends, according to the general stuff. So that's the storytelling we're trying to work around here, guys.
I mean, it's speculation at this point. We'll see what they decide to do with it. My assumption is it won't happen early in the season, but never know.
I would bet for sure, Pete. I think when one of those two episode drops we have coming up here, I think that's when we get Ventress.
Yeah, maybe. And in that book that you have there, Mike, Quinlan Voss, does he have a yellow lightsaber?
It looks yellow, yes. It looks like Ventress has one too.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
I wonder if it's going to coincide with the book. I wonder if do we know what the timeline is of the book? Does it coincide with the events of the Bad Batch? Because maybe we're just getting parts of the book finally on screen.
it's during Clone Wars itself because the mission they have
okay.
is that they get sent to assassinate Dooku.
Sure. Right, and that would end obviously by season 3 because episode 3 because Dooku's dead in episode 3, beginning of episode 3. So interesting. Okay, well, we'll see. I don't know.
My assumption here, Nick, is that if this is present time, it's not some kind of flashback to something here that like she faked her death. That would be my assumption, or like she resurrected or something.
I would agree.
I mean, even the press release said apparent death.
Yeah.
So I don't. Is it even confirmed? Have you read the book, Mike?
I have not gotten to read the book yet. I did the general summation. I'm gonna try and do it before we see her on screen.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what her death looks like in the book. If it's something like you said that she could easily fake it, or if it's someone literally, Count Dooku'd her and chopped her head off, or something like that, where it's like you're probably not coming back unless, the Night Sisters are going to do something to help you. But okay, yeah, sounds good.
All right, so that's our Asajj Ventress now here. We've now covered the trailer here. So I'm going to filibuster here, but Nick, we have a very interesting release schedule for the Bad Batch here. We have a lot of we have 15 episodes. We have a bunch of multi-episode drops.
I'm not happy.
Yeah, I know you're not happy.
I'm not happy, and it's a personal thing. Like I can't stand these. I was so happy when Ahsoka did the night prior releases, and I can't. Like I got to watch these now and go to work and then watch them in the morning and then come home and be exhausted, and it's just it makes it so terrible. Like just please, Disney, if you're listening, for the next show after this, just stick to that Tuesday night release, please.
Yeah, it would certainly help with the podcasters.
Yep. And it made it easier for everybody. The amount of times I'm watching the episode, let's say we watch a Bad Batch episode and it's amazing and Vader's in it. We're all going to go nuts, right?
Yep.
And I want to text my friends, hey guys, did you see? Oh, no, I didn't see him at work. Oh, let me know when you watch. They go home, they forget, they don't tell me. Next thing you know, it's 2 weeks later. Oh, yeah, I watched that episode with Vader. And I'm like, yeah, but I guess it didn't matter because he was gone the next episode. It ruins it. Put it on the night before. We all watched together, same time. We did our little watch parties for Ahsoka too, which was a lot of fun. I know they got rid of that feature, but when it's over, you saw Vader? Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. Everyone's talking about it. It's just everyone watching it at a different time because you're releasing it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I think it's so silly.
Yeah, but again, Pete, they will never do it for an animated show.
I just don't understand what the big deal is.
Whatever they move it for every show. That's what I'm saying. Not just like a special. We're gonna make this early. Every single show comes out at that hour.
Yeah, I just don't get why it has to be a big deal. I don't know. I don't know if internally there's something they have to do, but what is the big deal if it releases at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific? Like, who cares? What does it do for Disney? What, does it affect them that much that they can't release it like 4 hours early?
I don't know.
Well, it's more than that, obviously, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know. And I could be, it's a genuine question. It's more curiosity than judgmental. It's like,
What are we
what
doing?
exactly prevents them from doing it? They did it with Ahsoka.
And they did with Loki too, right afterwards.
Just do it with the shows. What is it? What is it doing for anyone? It's doing
They do
nothing.
with all shows.
Yeah. Are they doing it with Percy Jackson Olympians? No, that's the big thing right now. Is that getting prime time?
I would know.
I think it's there. I think that show that's a live action show. I think that's coming out like at the 3 a.m. time.
But you know what the crazy thing is? Like, this is not a release of like, I don't know, a video game, right? Where it releases once and that's it. It's out. It's over, right? Or a movie. This is a show that comes out every week.
Yep.
No one's waiting around till 12 a.m. or even 3 a.m. to watch it half the time. They're probably just watching the next day anyway. Just release it. It's not going to drop your stock. It's not going to drop viewership if you do it at. You're probably gonna get more viewership if you do it earlier than 3 o'clock in the morning when people are not aware.
I think you're
You know?
definitely getting more viewership.
Yeah, I did check. Percy Jackson got the 9 p.m. slot on Disney Plus. So
Okay, but all right, at least they're making that a thing for shows, which I appreciate, but I think it should be a thing for all shows, personally.
yeah, I think like any of your big brands, I think you should be doing it for, whether it's Star Wars or it's Marvel. Like, what if I don't think got that treatment
So
either?
again, I don't big brand or not. What does it take? They're probably scheduling it out like you schedule your tweets, right? Like you just have it on a automatic thing, and when it hits the time, the episode unlocks on the application.
Yeah,
What is the difference?
yeah, it's a great
The only
question.
thing I can think of is if it releases and there's application problems, then at least it's at 3 o'clock in the morning and they or whatever, and they can kind of fix it before the next day. But if you're gonna have application problems during release, you're gonna have an application problem. So just release it at a different time.
I also feel like it makes it an event when the show is on at a certain time. Like, for example, the Ahsokas that were on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. It was an event to watch them. So let's say you're talking to somebody like a casual fan, and you say, "Hey, did you watch? Have you been catching up with the Ahsoka show?" And they're like, "Oh no, when's it on?" And you say Tuesdays at 9. They'll be like, "Oh, maybe I'll check it out next Tuesday at 9."
Yeah,
But you have the opposite, let's say, and you have someone says to you, "When is it?" And you go, "Oh, they drop Wednesdays at 3 o'clock in the morning." They're like, "Oh." You get home from work Wednesday night, you're thinking about it, like, oh, but you know what? The Knicks are on. I'm just gonna watch the Knicks instead. It just makes it like it's not an event, and like making it an event is something that you don't want to miss.
I think for me, it's very simple here. I just don't think they respect animation enough to do it. Give it a 9 p.m. drop. I think that's the reason why.
I just want every show to
I'm
be like
I, I'm with you. I just don't think that they care about the animated shows enough.
that.
I
And
just don't care for them or not. What they have to schedule the episode out for a time. All they have to do is change what the time is. It's not like it's gonna take more manpower to switch it from a 3 a.m. release to a 9 p.m. release.
Yeah.
That's the part I don't understand. You're probably right. They're probably like, God, it's an anime show. We'll just throw it up and people are not gonna watch it anyway, so we'll just kind of but like I can't see it costing them more money. I can't see it costing them more manpower. Like I feel like it's the same exact scheduling process. You just switch the 12 a.m. to a 9 p.m. the day before. So I think it's just to me, it makes zero sense why they can't just do it for every show that they put out in that application.
Yep. So let's also go here. I have the release schedule up here in terms of when the episodes are dropping here. This is on Reddit. They share the image from Disney Plus. So episode premiere next Wednesday. So 301, 302, and 303. Nick is thrilled about that.
Yeah, the chances that I have all three of them completed and prepped to be on a podcast are slim, but I'll do my best.
Yeah. So 3 episode premiere on February 21st. Then we have an episode the 28th, the 6th. Then we have a 2 episode event on March 13th. We have episodes 8 and 9 the 20th, 27th. Another 2 episode drop on April 3rd, episodes 10 and 11. Episode 12, 13, 14, 10, 17, and 24th. And the finale by itself, episode 315, is May 1st. So, Nick, I suspect that's going to be like a longer length.
You would think. I mean, being on their own platform rather than being on like a station, like a cable station, I guess gives them the flexibility to do what they want with the runtime. So I would expect that to be hopefully double in length at least.
I remember Pete, the premiere of the Bad Batch, I think was what, like 73 minutes, the first episode.
Was it one episode?
Yes, it was one episode.
Yeah, then maybe something like that.
Yeah.
And we've gotten 16 episode seasons in the past. We only have 15 to count for. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took the time for 16 and just tacked down to 15.
Yeah, just make it one,
Right.
season finale instead of having 4 episodes that it takes to watch the season finale.
Yeah, I would bet. I feel like I said, one of these two slots, more likely this 310, 311, we'll get Ventress.
Right.
Maybe.
Maybe she'll at the end of the previous episode and you're saying, oh, what happens with her? And then you get 2 episodes to explain it. Maybe I can see that happening also. But I think you won't get Ventress for midseason.
Or we get it at the end of that 2-episode drop because it's like a lot of things are happening and then all of a sudden, boom, she's there. And then you take the rest of the season to explain why she's there. And then the finale has her, everyone's big finale.
Yep. So that's what we got here on that front here. So now we're going to go ahead. We're sort of get into some potential trackers we're going to discuss here going forward. So obviously, guys, Hondo's got a return, correct?
Yeah, but real quick before we get into that, before we get into the trackers, I also have, if you want me to tell you a specific one,
Yeah.
all the names of the episodes have been released as well.
Sure.
So I don't want to name them all; it'd be like too long. So if you just like have one that you want me to tell, I'll just tell you the name of it.
Which one jumps out to you the most?
Well, just the finale is called the cavalry has arrived.
Yep.
Episode 8 is called Bad Territory.
Yep.
11, Point of No Return.
Okay.
13, Into the Breach. I'm just naming some ones that sound pretty cool. Episode 4, A Different Approach.
I saw the list. 6 and 7, Infiltration, Extraction feels like when they're going to try Omega and Crosshair out of the prison.
Yeah. Those 2 back to back.
Yeah. That might be like
those are on the same day as well.
Yes, it feels like a mid-season event kind of deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I think that's where we got here. So,
and one more to throw out. 10 and 11 also releasing on the same day. Identity Crisis and Point of No Return.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like Crosshair's having identity crisis, and then he reaching the point of no return. But we'll see what that actually means.
Or Resurrected Tech.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into our trackers here. We're good. You guys follow us know, and those of you who are new to the weekly episode format, we keep track of certain things every week. So one of them we do every show and it's not shown up yet. Hondo appearances. So do you think we could get Hondo here, guys?
I want him, but I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say yes because I want him, but really I'm saying no, but I'm saying yes anyway.
You're obligated to track him though, so he's gonna be in every show that he could possibly be in. We're gonna have that tracker.
All right, then go Hondo.
Yep, live action cameos again a must because we already got a couple hitting that.
Yeah.
All right.
That should be good. And planets, are we carrying over or are we starting?
I think we're resetting.
Okay.
I think it's more fun to reset and see if we beat last season's total.
Yeah, that's good. That sounds good to me.
The number of clones, that one I think will carry over.
Yeah.
Named clones, not just random in the background. Last season we did Sid missions, which we had way too many of to all our dismay. How about we do Rex missions this season?
Sure. I don't think Sid will be giving them many missions this season. Do you agree?
Do you think we even get Sid in this season?
I do.
We get a mission against Sid, I say, because of what she did.
I feel like this is a kid show. It might get the Sid redemption moment.
Yeah, I think we definitely do. It seems like a lot of times when you have a show or movie that has a sequel or next season where the villain gets taken down in the first season, but they're not killed, they always show up in season 2, whether it's a way of advice or a way of try to getting some sort of revenge. They always seem to show up again.
Yeah. All right, so I'd say that one here. The last one I'm thinking of here, I think we should have a death track. I feel like we have a lot of people dying in this season.
I agree, but how are we going to be counting like if they blow up a ship?
It depends. Would you want to do that, or would you like to keep it to name
Why
character?
don't you do two? Why don't you do two?
Yeah.
Just do deaths and like in parentheses we'll do a named character and then a total.
Yeah.
And total we'll have to estimate because if they blow up a ship, we'll just have to say how many people do you think were on that ship? Like, we're never going to know.
Yeah. I think name might be easier, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right. So name character deaths. So we don't really have the help of Chopper estimating how many ship people on the Imperial cruiser he's blowing up. All right. So the next thing we'll do here, we'll go to our MVP LVP board. Each week during the season, for every episode, we're going to review the episode. We're going to go through these trackers and do our best and worst characters of each episode here. So to reset, this is what season 2 ended up being here. So this is the final board for season 2. Our 3 most valuable characters were Tech at +8, Dr. Hemlock at +6, and Cody in his one episode got +3, was third place for the season, Nick.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Our bottom 3 was a tie for third between Lieutenant Nolan of the Empire and Vice Admiral Rampart, basically standing Imperial douches. Omega at -5, and Sid bring up the rear at -11.
Do you have the MVP, LVP from season 1 somewhere? Not handy, but somewhere.
I might. I have to look for it.
So I would like to do if we could. We've never finished a show on this podcast. I mean, technically we have, but I mean we've never finished the show like from start to finish live, like as we did it. It would be really cool to combine the list at the end and say this was the MVP of Bad Batch, in our opinion.
Yeah, well, I think I'll do that separately offline. I think for season 3, I'll just keep this board clean and sort of do like just the season.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the season 3 recap one. When we eventually do that, we can recap the entire show, I guess, there too.
Yeah. So when we get that far, we'll combine everything. But
that sounds cool.
The board will be pretty blank when we start. I'm not because it's gonna be too much to sort of have to do every single week. It's like we're talking about the one time that Romar showed up in season 2, and it's for his MVP point.
Right. Yeah, at the end though, it'd be really cool to combine.
Yeah, and also point out we're on the MVP board.
That's right. We got +1.
We got plus
episode, right?
If we're getting through one of the terrible episodes.
I was proud of us that day.
Yeah, we did a good job that day. So that's what's going to be coming up here. And we're also going to go ahead here. We're going to wrap it up with some premiere predictions here. So let's go ahead. We're going to do our predictions to the premiere. I feel like for this one, I think Nick is right. I think that action sequence again being in the trailer, I think we're getting that mission in that episode where we're going to be going on. I think it's not though a random side quest for Fee. I think this is them trying to find clues to where this base is that Omega's at. Because I think that they have no idea where she is. I think they're trying to just like go raid Imperial compound, trying to figure out where she's going. So I'm going to say the Fee mission is in the premiere. So Pete, anything you want to add?
No, I feel like that's a pretty good prediction. I don't really have any other ideas.
Nick, anything you want to weigh in with?
I think the Fee mission will be in the in premiere for sure, but being that it's like a double or even a triple, I think we're gonna get some more, obviously. So I think like they're gonna do that mission, and I think they're also gonna like think and talk about Omega and try to get like some intel or like maybe some scouting, like some recon scouting on like how like they can get her, something like that.
Is they gonna meet somebody to give them information?
Yeah, I'd say like getting some like intel.
Yeah, and you think this is basically just the other 3 because the mission that said this that actually spread apart. So you think it's just Hunter and Tech, and then Echoes off, Hunter and Wrecker, and then Echoes off with Rex.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if we get Rex in the premiere.
I think we're gonna get a lot more Rex than we've gotten.
You think Rex will be a recurring character basically this season?
I do.
All right, so that's a good place to leave it here. We'll be back next week with our 3-episode premiere coverage here. So general rule is we're going to try and record on Wednesday night, and then have it out either late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning in your feed here. There might be an exception or two along the way, but that's sort of the general idea with this end. Fingers crossed, he might have a guest for a Bad Batch episode first, so that's a possibility here this season.
I guess for the first episode?
No, I guess at some point during the season.
We haven't had a Bad Batch guest yet.
No, I said this might be a first.
Oh.
stay tuned on that one, guys. We're working on it behind the
Yeah.
scenes to schedule that one out. So
We've
hey,
never done
doubles
that.
when somebody show up.
That'd be great. We've never done that.
Yeah, we never had somebody want to come on for the anime show. We have people who are watching the show and say are interested in potentially coming off. We may schedule it work out.
Sounds great.
All right. That's it for us. We'll be back next week. This is dropping on Tuesday for you guys. Again, our Wednesday slot going back to that going forward here. But I want to thank you guys for coming on once again. Pete, if you want to follow you on social media, how can I do that?
At Concy29 on Twitter, and then AP Tyler308 made this background on Reddit. So definitely check them out.
All right. Nick, one more time. If you want to follow us on social media, how can I do that?
At Sky Guys Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and TikTok.
Yep. You can also check out my social media page, mphillips331. It's MPHILIPS331. This week over on the Just on the Suffering podcast, we are recapping Super Bowl 58. Joe D'Aloisio is on here to break down the big game. Plus, friend of the Sky Guy, Sam DeRosa, came on to do the halftime commercial breakdown here. So, guys, what was your favorite Super Bowl commercial?
When Patrick Stewart threw Hey Arnold. I saw that one prior. That one was like leaked, so I actually saw it like last week, but I knew it was coming, but I like that one.
Pete, what about you?
The Nerds one was pretty funny. The Nerds clusters.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
For me, it was Christopher Walken.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
I think I missed that one.
When everyone was impersonating him.
Yeah, everyone's impersonating Christopher Walken to Christopher Walken was driving a BMW.
That was a good one.
And Usher shows up halfway through and he Christopher Walken asking like, "Don't you have somewhere to be?" And he just leaves.
Yeah, we all said when we were watching that was a missed opportunity, and they should have had that air directly before the halftime show to make it look like he went from
The commercial
in a coffee shop or the hotel lobby, whatever it was,
in the restaurant he was at.
in the restaurant, to going right to the halftime show. That would have been cool.
It would have been cool, but we'll keep an eye on that. That's going to be what's coming up there. We'll be back next week for our first recaps of the final season of The Bad Batch. But until then, may the force be with you.